Hello and welcome to another HTML and CSS tutorial. In the previous tutorial, we looked at something called the box model, or the HTML box model, and we also looked at how to add padding around boxes or elements in our web pages. So in this tutorial, we're going to look at how to add borders around boxes, and apply borders to elements on our web pages. So I already have a HTML file set up here, and I have in the body section a heading. I have a large heading, H1 size. I have a slightly smaller heading, which is H2, and then I have a paragraph there in the body section. And I've already applied a style here in the head section of the web page. So there's styles for the H1 heading, the H2 heading, and the paragraph as well. I've added background colors, and I've also added padding, and I've just kept the padding the same around each side of each element, or each piece of content. So there's background color of orange for the first heading, background color of yellow for the second, and background color of blue for the paragraph. Okay, so to add borders around to add borders to the boxes, need to remember that the border goes around the padding and the content, so not just around the content. So if we have a look at this image, we have the content here inside the box, then we have the padding around the content, and then the border goes around the padding and the content. And then outside the border we have a margin, which we'll look at in the next tutorial. So here we have, for our H1 element, we have a background color of orange and padding of 20. We can add a border here. So firstly, when we type in border, you'll see there's a few different suggestions here from Sublime Text, but we're going to firstly specify the border style, and it's going to be a solid border, so just a solid line border. We can then specify the border width, and the border width is going to be 5 pixels for this one. And then we can specify the border color, and the border color for this will be green. Remember that you should be using the HTML color codes, or the hexadecimal codes, but just to keep things easy and to get through this quickly, I'll just specify the colors using the words. So we've got a border style of solid, border width of 5 pixels, and a border color that is green. So let's save it and right click, open in browser, and you can see that we already have the style of a yellow background for the smaller heading and a blue background for the paragraph, but our first box, the larger heading with the orange background, has a green border around it. So we've just applied a green solid border, and that border has a width of 5 pixels. Okay, now we can go down to our H2 element, and we can add another border to this one. But we can add the border in a slightly different way. We can use a little bit of a shortcut, and we can specify the width, the style of the border, and the color all on one line. So for this border, it's going to be 3 pixels. It's going to be a dashed border, and it's going to be blue. So we can put the width, the style, and the color all on one line. We'll save that. We'll go back to Chrome and refresh, and now we have a blue border that's a dashed border, and it's 3 pixels in width, and it's going all the way around this box. All right, going back to our code, for the paragraph, instead of specifying the border for all around this box, we're going to actually specify the border for the top, the left, the right, and the bottom. So you can have a different style, different size, different color border for each side of the box. So we can add a border top. We'll make this 8 pixels, and we'll make a dotted border, and it'll be red. Oops, I've made a typo there. Make sure you spell that right. Going down another line, we'll add the left border. So border left, 8 pixels. This one will be dashed, and it will be yellow. Another line, border right, 8 pixels again. This border will be solid, and we'll go with green for the color. And then lastly, border bottom will be 8 pixels. This will be a groove style border, and the color will be black. Alright, save, refresh. There we go. So we have a red dotted border for the top, a yellow dashed border on the left, a green border on the right, and a black border on the bottom. Now, it's a little bit hard to see that it's a grooved border because of the size, and also because of the color, but you can fiddle around with that in your code, and you can see the difference between a grooved border and a solid border. So the border styles that you can include are none, so you can put none if you want no border. You can have a solid border, you can have a dotted, dashed, you can have a double border, you can have a ridge, groove, an inset, and an outset border. So in your code, have a play with that, try some of those different border styles. You'll probably mostly use the solid border or the double border, or maybe the ridge border, but have a try at each of those borders in your code. Thanks for watching.